Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever wondered why a simple sunset can just stop you in your tracks? Or why a song can, out of nowhere, move you to tears? Well, today, we're diving into the philosophy of art. It's really a journey to figure out where this powerful human impulse comes from and why it's so absolutely essential to who we are.
Our journey really begins with a feeling we all know, right? That sense of awe you get when you're looking at a huge forest, or the stars, or a sunset. The core idea we're digging into today is that this powerful connection to nature's beauty, it isn't just some fleeting feeling. It's the universal starting point for all art.
Okay, so that brings up a really important question. How does an artist take that overwhelming feeling and actually translate it into something like a painting, or a sculpture, or a poem? What in the world is that process of transformation?
At its heart, the idea is this: art isn't just inspired by nature. It's a direct reflection of its underlying order. It's like a way of tapping into the very same principles that structure the universe itself.
Think about it like this. Just look at something as simple as a single leaf. You notice the pattern of its veins, the spacing, the symmetry. None of it is random. It's a perfect, self-contained system. And it's this inherent order that artists, whether they know it or not, are always trying to capture and understand.
And this connection, it goes way deeper than just physical patterns. It's spiritual too. In this view, nature provides this kind of spiritual light, a beauty that just resonates deep inside us. The artwork then becomes the vessel for that feeling, for that intangible essence.
So if nature is providing the raw material of beauty and order, what's the artist's role in all this? Are they just some kind of passive channel? Oh, not even close.
And this is where a really fascinating parallel gets drawn. The artist is kind of framed as a mystic, a seeker on a spiritual quest. Just like a Sufi mystic dedicates their life to study and worship to get closer to the divine. The artist engages in this daily, almost obsessive search for truth and beauty.
And this isn't some casual hobby. It's a really demanding calling. It's this constant cycle of research, creation, and then feeling this pressure to go even deeper. The second one piece is finished, the artist feels this immediate responsibility to start the search all over again for the next, even more profound creation.
All right, so let's shift from the artist to the artwork itself. Let's see how this intense, personal quest can create something that speaks to all of us, no matter the time or culture.
So much of what we know about ancient civilizations, what they believed, what they feared, their daily rituals, we know it all through their art. When the written texts are lost or they're incomplete, it's the sculptures, the pottery, the cave paintings that tell the human story. Art is truly our most durable historical witness.
And this idea perfectly illustrates why that visual record is so critical. We've always known that a picture can communicate complex ideas in an instant. But today, in our world where the internet connects billions of us, a single image can travel the globe and shape a global conversation, which makes it more powerful than ever before.
But, of course, this universal language hasn't just stayed the same. It's constantly been evolving, transforming, and branching out into countless different schools and movements.
So let's take classicism. During the Renaissance, you had artists like Leonardo and Michelangelo looking all the way back to ancient Greece and Rome. They got completely obsessed with this mathematical, philosophical pursuit of ideal beauty. They were searching for perfect harmony and balance in the human form.
But art never ever stands still. A huge shift happened with realism, which really came about as a direct reaction against all that idealization. The goal was the exact opposite: to turn away from gods and nobles and instead portray the world as it actually is, finding truth and honesty in the grit and the imperfections of just ordinary everyday life.
And from there, wow, the revolutions just got faster. You had movements like Cubism, led by artists like Picasso, that completely shattered traditional perspective. They started deconstructing objects into their basic geometric shapes, showing them from multiple angles at the same time. This fundamentally changed our whole idea of what a painting could even be.
But here's the thing, art doesn't happen in a bubble. So let's ground these ideas in our world right now and look at the very real challenges and barriers that artists and art are facing in society today.
One of the biggest challenges identified is this cultural gap between art and the public. And this huge chasm, it gets created by a simple lack of access, no museums or galleries, and a lack of education. When art isn't part of school, people just don't develop the visual literacy to connect with it, and it often gets brushed aside as some kind of unnecessary luxury.
And a major driver of this gap seems to be a real disparity in education. In a lot of Western cultures, art is woven into daily life from a really young age through school programs and public institutions. But in places where that infrastructure is missing, it's just so much harder for a vibrant artistic culture to really take root and thrive.
And this brings us to a really crucial point. This isn't just about education, it's about freedom. In environments where political or social pressures stifle expression, creativity is basically suffocated. Artists can't innovate if they can't speak their minds, which forces them into silence or, as this quote so tragically puts it, to find freedom somewhere else.
So, with all of these challenges, why does art still matter so much? Well, the argument is that despite everything, art is now more essential than it has ever been.
Because art is a mirror. It really is. If you want to know the true health of a society, its hopes, its fears, its freedoms, its repressions, you don't look at the official press releases. You look at its art. The artists, the poets, the thinkers, they're the ones reflecting what's actually happening on the ground.
And this all leads to a really profound conclusion. All art is political. Not in the sense of propaganda, but in the sense that any choice of subject is a statement. A painting of a beautiful landscape makes a statement about what's valued, and a simple drawing of a hungry person, well, that becomes an intensely political work because it forces us to confront a social reality.
And so, we're left with this final question to think about. In a world that is just saturated with images that can unite or divide us in an instant, the art we create and the art we choose to value, well, it isn't just a reflection of who we are. It's a force in shaping who we will become. So, what will the art of our time say about us?